Now, the weather might have been unseasonably mild so far this winter, but with cold weather predicted, you might find yourself reaching for the hot water bottle and electric blanket.
Well, as Alice Beer has been finding out, there are a few winter safety checks you might want to carry out before you do, and you did this on your Instagram.
I did, yes, because somebody contacted me and said, look, can you just give a heads up? My daughter, this is a lovely lady called Kerry, who lives down in Cornwall, her 15-year-old daughter had been revising and, like we all do, I mean, I've got my electric blanket here, took a hot water bottle and held it to her stomach to be cosy. And it was this hot water bottle. And it had a lovely little cover on it and had been in the cupboard, like most of our hot water bottles, for ages. And look how it had perished. I mean...
Oh, my God. And that is boiling water that you've just poured
Boiling water, which it shouldn't be, but it was boiling water. Grace went to hospital, third-degree burns, stomach and legs. I mean, really serious. Chelsea and Westminster Hospital see at least one person a week with burns from hot water bottles.
The family agreed and have said, you know, please show the picture as a warning. Everybody's permission has been got, including Grace, Mum.
I mean, it's pretty gruesome.
It is, so we've just got to warn you now to look away, but this is the damage that can be done.
Yeah. That was her skin all the way through. I mean, half of hot water bottle injuries need skin grafts. They need surgery. So these are not just surface burns. They go really deep. This is really serious. And poor Grace is recovering. She's now back at school. But it was really serious.
So what is the date then? I mean, it's like a sell-by date, but they don't have it on there, do they?
They do have a date of manufacture. Which you don't know about, because this is a lovely new hot water bottle in a very lovely fluffy cover. Why would you ever take the fluffy cover off unless, you know, it's got dirty? But inside you have got, and I'm sorry, but I think this is the worst system of printing a date ever, because it's so confusing. You've got a daisy wheel date. So you've got a little, OK, how close can you get? Can you see that little daisy wheel in there? OK, so it's got 12 segments. So in the middle, you can see a 22. So this was made in 2022. 1922 would be a bit of a problem, wouldn't it?
Time to get a new one.
Yeah, exactly, time to get a new one. So it was made in 2022. Then you've got 12 segments around the outside. Those are the months in which it was manufactured. You can tell with the segment where the dots end, and this is the 8th segment. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's like a blooming...
stamp on it.
Yeah, exactly. So you can tell that the last segment is the 8th segment, and it's got, August, and it's got 3 dots in it, so it's the 3rd week in August. I mean, congratulations if you can actually work that out. How an old person is going to work that out, I have no
And I'm assuming is that a relatively new thing? If we looked on old hot water bottles now, would they have that? Has that got it in there?
If you don't have it on, then you, A, haven't got it from a very good source, and B, it's too old. But, and I'm going to say something really stupid here. When you buy but it's relevant. When you buy a hot water bottle, the point is that the rubber is insulating and is strong. So if it doesn't smell rubbery and it doesn't feel rubbery, then it's got a higher proportion of additives to rubber. So actually what you want is a real rubbery hot water bottle.
Right.
Because that will protect you more. So if you're buying a cheap one, it'll have less rubber in it and it's more prone to perishing.
3 years old, that's your limit.
3 years old,
and then you're done.
That's it, I'm afraid, and not boiling water. Please be careful and take the cover off and check it and fill it with the cover off. And then, you know, you can check that it's OK before you hand it. You might have old visitors coming this Christmas and be getting the hot water bottle out of the cupboard.
Electric blankets?
Be careful. Electric blankets. The sales of these have gone up 500% this year. An electric blanket will heat your bed up for pennies. They are brilliant things because they stop you putting the heating on. But once they're folded, these are all wires, electrical wiring, all the way through, and you've got to take them seriously. It's a piece of electrical equipment. So if it's seriously folded and folded and folded, you're going to take a risk of damaging that electrical wire. Look at them for scorch marks, look at them for, this is a brand new one. Take it out, make sure it's not folded in any way. Don't fold it when it's warm.
On the top of my right leg from New Zealand when I was 21, 22.
A couple of years ago.
And it was a loop on the electric blanket, which I left on overnight whilst I was in there. And I woke up in the night thinking, oh, my God, ow, 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 ow. Luckily, not electric shock, but it scarred me for life on the top of my leg.
It's dangerous, isn't it? An older person who, might not have such sensitive, nerve endings, it's going to really harm them. So please don't buy a second-hand one. Do make sure it's safe. Check the fuses, check the connections, unravel it, make sure it's nice and flat. Use them because they are brilliant, cheap ways to keep your heating down. Please be careful with them. Really be careful with them.
Gas fires?
Gas fires. I mean, there are so many ways in which gas fires can cause problems. There are some 6,000 chimney fires the fire brigades called out to every year. People have the wrong appliance fitted to the wrong flue. Gas fires, you've got to make sure it's safe. It's got to be serviced. In America, they have a service mentality that they get every single electrical appliance on a service contract and they get somebody in to check them every year or every 2 years. We don't do that. We wait till something breaks down. Now, if a gas fire breaks down, I'm afraid that's serious and it could mean death. Carbon monoxide detectors are vital. Essential in any room. Please, if you're looking after relatives, make sure they've got one. Student accommodation, make sure they've got one. Other simple things.
Send your kids off to uni with one.
Oh, absolutely. Well, if they're renting a flat, the landlord should have it. But check. Always be a difficult tenant. Tumble dryers, people have been putting them on, but right now, I'm afraid there's no other way to dry your clothes, really, apart from have things hanging all around the house. The lint, I go on about this so many times. I use the lint in my filter for my tumble dryer to light the fire in my wood burner.
This is just stash it all up in a bucket.
I keep it in a pot.
That's such a good idea.
And I use it because it's that flammable. It's brilliant. We're not allowed to strike matches in here, but that would go up. So if you don't know about this filter in your tumble dryer, you are seriously running a risk of having a tumble dryer fire. Because once this starts falling down and clogging up the airflow, this is going to hit a heating element and you're going to have a fire. And if you're putting it on at night, then that is bad news.
One of the jobs that I love, I've only got 30 seconds, bleed your radiators.
Bleed your radiators. Bleeding radiators will make your heating much more effective, but please, 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 not while the heating's on. If you're thinking of turning the heating on, do this first. Use a towel, protect your hands. Otherwise, you will have hot water spitting out at you. All these things you need to do, it's just go through the checklist. I'll put a checklist on our social media so that you can make sure that you're just making sure, just to be safe and warm. And the snow is on its way.
Gosh, OK, thank you. Thank you very much.